Well, hello, everybody out there. How is it going out there in LinkedIn land? I hope it's going great because we've got an interesting one for you today. Microsoft's CoPilot, and I'm super psyched about this. Hoping you guys have been paying attention, but if you haven't, there was a watershed moment in computing history a few months back with the release of Chat GPT. Suddenly, AI is at the forefront, and it's doing all kinds of amazing things. And so today we are going to be talking about Microsoft's implementation of that throughout the Microsoft universe, through all of their apps, through Microsoft 365. So I'm super excited about this because my God, is this thing powerful. All right. Hey, Steve, how's it going out there? Let me do a little housekeeping, I think, first. Let's see. What do we got? You guys can post stuff in the comments. We're going to be posting a link for you guys to be able to come on a little later. So start thinking of your questions. Think of the ways you're going to be using CoPilot as we go through it, as we tell you the various things it can do. Let's see if it gets the wheels turning, and you come up with things, because I want to hear what you guys are going to do with this thing. All right. Without further ado, I want to bring on the man, the myth, the partner in crime, Jeffrey Tabelli, the founder of RCS Professional Services.
Hey,
there
man.
He is.
Hey, what's up? Hey, how'd you break your arm? What happened to your arm, man?
My arm's fine. It's my collarbone that I busted. Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. A few months, and then you're back to 100%. Right back on the mountain bike.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about AI today.
That's right. I mean, it's amazing how far AI has come. I remember in college I was learning about AI, and it was like this cool thing that could kind of do things not much. And now, my God, this thing can do all kinds of stuff. It's crazy.
It's here. So for those of you that don't know us, we are at RCS Professional Services. We're an IT managed service provider located in New York, Atlanta, Georgia, and now South Florida. And Norman and I work together. I'm the founder of the company, and Norman's the brains behind it. So welcome. We're all excited to talk about AI, specifically around Microsoft CoPilot, and we're going to explain what that is. So for those of you who have been out there, I'm sure you're hearing AI everywhere and anywhere. Chat GPT, your friends are using it, my wife is using it, my clients are using it, but now they're integrating that into Microsoft Office. So this program that I've been using for the last 30 years, Word, Excel, Outlook, now Teams, PowerPoint, it's going to build the OpenAI into the Chat GPT, almost into the Microsoft platform, so that you can basically work a whole lot less or work on better things, right?
Right.
Everyone's kind of afraid that, jobs are going to be lost in this. I'm not a believer in that. I really think that it's going to provide a huge amount of efficiency and allow us to focus on the most important things. So where do we go from here, Norman? I don't know. What do you have to share about this? Where should we go?
Were you a Star Trek watcher?
I was a Star Trek watcher. I'm showing my age now, but yes, I was a Star Trek watcher. And tell me what you're gonna say. I think I already know it.
Okay, so right, they're standing there. They go into the little conference room on the side, and the captain will say anything, like anything. Computer, give me, and suddenly the computer's answering all kinds of crazy stuff. Oh yeah, Captain, it was 6 weeks ago on Stargate, whatever, and who knows what's going on, and this is what you need to know, and this is how you're going to do this, and here's the people for the job. If you saw that on Star Trek years ago,
Right, in the 870s, right?
right,
Now it's here.
here we go.
We have
Here's
it.
the future.
Okay. So where do we go from here?
So let's see. Let's start talking about, what do you want to go into first? You want to go into what it does, when it'll be available? Let's talk about what it does. I'll tell you what. Yes, let's talk about what it does, and then we'll go into how it does it, and then we'll talk about pricing, and then when it's going to get here. So let's go into what it is and what it does.
Go.
So,
You're better at explaining things. You go, man.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. So imagine you are working in Word and you need to make an outline for, I don't know, a presentation. So this is the sort of thing where you can say to CoPilot, hey, take that information from that document and give me an outline here in this document. And it will go ahead and find that document you mentioned, and it will and then give you an outline in your Word document. So you did nothing but type a prompt, and it made a whole outline of whatever it is for you. Take it a step further. Okay, so now I've got an outline. Now I need to make an actual presentation of that. So great. I go into PowerPoint and I tell CoPilot in PowerPoint, hey, I need a presentation. Sorry, you might want to be specific about certain things. I need a short presentation on that outline that you just made. And it will go and it will create a whole, well, not a whole bunch of slides. It will create a few slides for you, because I said a short presentation, with notes in those slides. And all you really need to do is just touch things up, which is really incredible, because that was hours of work before. And now CoPilot will be able to help you out at getting that done super quickly. You open up your Outlook one morning. There's 50 emails. I don't know what's going on here. Hey, CoPilot, I need you to surface the emails that I really need to pay attention to. It goes, reads through your emails, and it comes out and says, hey, you need to pay attention to this, and this is what you need to pay attention to in these emails, which is amazing. Same thing in Teams. If you have Jeff, this is a classic Jeff thing. He's got to go to meetings. He was out at meetings all day. He comes back to his Teams. He's got 600 messages. He's got one channel. It's got 50 messages. How is he going to catch up on that? Same sort of thing. Hey, CoPilot, catch me up on what happened here. Great. It'll say, well, this person was saying this, and it's about this, and here are the various bullet points you need to know, and here's a document that they've been working on, and here's the update in that document. So it's going to be able to do all kinds of these crazy, like, it seems crazy now, but amazing things that you just need to prompt it, and it goes and finds it. And it's using your data. That's the key here.
That's the key here, right?
Data.
So for those of you who have experimented with Chat GPT or anything like it, if there's anything else out there like it, it's scavenging the internet and everything in the cloud, right? But here in Microsoft, right, if you're on the platform, and I didn't think about it before, Norma, but I think this creates a serious moat for them, right? Like, if your stuff is in Dropbox, then you're not going to get quite the same experience. But if your stuff is in OneDrive, if your stuff is in SharePoint, if your stuff is in the Microsoft ecosystem, the Copilot, which is the Chat GPT version that sits within Office, it has all your information, right? So every single email that someone sends you, every document you created, every spreadsheet you created, every spreadsheet that your counterparts created, that emailed you, that are living in SharePoint, that are living in OneDrive, it's mining that data in the background, has everything. And then you say, like, if you have a relationship with John Henry, let's say it was a client, right? You're going back and forth with them over the last weeks, months, years, whatever it is. Every single piece of communication it has in there, right? So now, if you're in Word and you need to make a proposal for John Henry, you could just say, make a proposal for John Henry based on, IT managed services, which is what we sell normally, and, putting them on Office 365 and migrating them from Google, right? So now it'll create that entire proposal. Obviously, it's not perfect. The name of the product is called CoPilot, right? Which means it's not just, have it write for you and hit send. You have to proofread it, edit it, make it in your style. But you can then, after that first iteration is made, like Norman said, you say, make it more concise, make it more thorough, speak in my language, make it funny, right? All these things. And then as it does it, you could hone in on a certain paragraph and say, reference this product portfolio, this thing. And you could just, within minutes, right, have this beautifully whipped up proposal. Again, it's probably not going to be perfect. It probably gets better over time as you work with it more, but you're saving tons and tons of time, right? So, and then like Norman said, it's not just in Word, right? We're interacting with our clients in Word, in Excel, in Outlook, in Teams, all these tools that we all use every day. And then it's doing like 80% of the work for you. And then another great thing is, are you good at PowerPoint, Norman?
It's from the early webinars we've done, it takes me forever. I can make the slides, but I certainly can't make them pretty. It takes me a million years to go and figure out what I want to put on top. It's a mission.
Right. So
if it wasn't for
say
Esther, we would never have had a slideshow.
Most of the people don't use, I think the stat is like 90% of the capabilities of PowerPoint, right? So now it's great. You don't even have to know it. You could say, put an animation in this slide, right? And then it'll just do it for you. You don't know how to do it. Actually, it's going to tell you what it did so that you can know how to do it next time. But you're unleashing all the power in the applications. It's getting information on all your data. It's generating responses. It's generating documents. Think about email. How much of your time do you spend in email?
In what?
An Outlook.
An email. Oh my God.
It's like
I actually just spent an hour this morning just trying to catch up on old emails. Just an hour of clicking. Okay, I read that. Great. Clicking. I was like,
what's the favorite email that you got?
What do you mean?
Your most the email that you're like, oh yeah, roll your eyes like, oh, I got to deal with this now. I'll tell you the one that I got. It's the one where the long email with the highlights and the bullets, and they want an answer to 14
You sent one
questions.
today. That's right. I got one. It's right there. You were the one who sent it today. My God,
I know. I do it all the time.
Page long.
I do it all the time. But you can tell CoPilot, generate a response to all of John Henry's questions, and it'll do it for you within seconds, within a minute. And then you could just edit it. It's so powerful, the tools that we're about to be unleashed. Let's talk a little bit about availability, pricing. Should we go there? Should we go to
hang
security?
on a second, because I got a comment on Steve Furman's comment here, which is about the Jetsons. Yeah, Stephen, we were going over this preparing for this webinar. We were like, yeah, it's just like the Jetsons. It's a great call. It's exactly
right.
So let's see. Wait, what about something like Excel? What can it do in Excel?
Yeah, so Excel, and we'll share more stuff. We're actually gonna have another webinar when it's released. Norman did a great webinar on Teams when the pandemic onset happened, and we went in the ins and outs of how to actually use Teams, how to create meetings, how to chat, how to create teams, how to share documents. We're gonna be doing the same thing when CoPilot comes out. But yeah, so wait, what was your question again?
Well, what can it do in Excel?
So what could it do in Excel? So basically, if let's say you get a spreadsheet with last quarter's P&L, right? And it has some detail about sales by customer, whatever it is, right? You could tell CoPilot, and it gives you quarter by quarter analysis or annual, whatever it may be. You could tell CoPilot, give me the top 3 insights or trends that I need to be aware of based on this data, right? And then it's going to go ahead and tell you, well, for one, your SG&A was up by 20% quarter over quarter. Last quarter was 3%. I don't know, whatever it may be, right? And then you could drill down on that. And if the data's there, obviously data has to be there. But you could say, now break that down and tell me what areas we could have changed or improved on to improve our results. It'll zap that information out, put it in another table, show you graphs, show you charts. I mean, you've looked into it, but what else can you do in Excel with this thing?
I
It's
think
like
that,
crazy.
what are you telling me? That's like, I read that it can do this, and every time I hear it, to me, it's incredible. Do you know how much Excel work it takes to just do that? And it's not like, oh, I need to know formulas. No, you need to know how to even surface this information out of that sea of data. It's incredible they can do things like that. And you're just saying, hey, I need this, and boom, it's working it out for you. Incredible.
So yeah, it's really cool. Look, there's very limited information that Microsoft has been providing around this. We're super hyped about it. A little bit about availability pricing. It was just announced in the Inspire event, which is their annual conference. They did release pricing information formally. We initially thought it was going to be included with some of the most popular Microsoft 365 packages that most of our clients are subscribed to. So that's Microsoft 365 Business Premium, Microsoft Office 365 E3, some of the better, even Business Standard we thought it was going to come up with, but they told us it's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be cheap. But if you had a co-pilot next to you working, typing for you, doing all the work within minutes, how much would that cost? I'd say 50 grand a year. Okay,
Yeah,
maybe even more.
That's exactly it. Imagine this assistant that can do all these things for you. Just, my God, if I was in Word, no, yeah, if I was in Word and I said, hey, I need take that document over there, give me a summary of it, and then take the information from this new document that someone else gave me and massage it into that. Just the going and finding the documents and collecting and doing, no kidding, it has it knows it. Boom, 2 seconds, you're there. It's incredible.
Yeah,
So
Steve's
is
asking a
it going to
good
save
question.
me a ton of time? Yeah, it's going to save me a ton of time. Is it cheap? Not exactly, but it's going to save me a ton of time. So how expensive is it?
So it's 30 bucks. From what we're told, it's 30 bucks per user per month. And from what we're told, Christy, it is a paid add-on and it's not included with any of the other products from what we've been told so far.
Yeah, so it's a paid add-on to Microsoft 365 Business Standard, Business Premium, Enterprise E3, and Enterprise E5. Business Standard is just your mail and your apps. Business Premium is a bundle that has mail, apps, and a bunch of security features, and it's basically a bundle that has a whole bunch of great stuff in it for small business. Both those are for small businesses. And then you got Enterprise E3 and E5. Those are bundles for the enterprise where it's along the same lines, bigger mailboxes, bunch of security stuff thrown in. As you go from E3 to E5, you get a whole bunch more stuff in there. And it's an add-on to those licenses. So you need one of those licenses, and then you need the CoPilot add-on license, which is $30 per user per month.
Cool. And so that's going to give you access to Copilot and all your Office applications. We didn't really talk about cool stuff that it could do in Teams or that it will be able to do in Teams, but how often are we on Teams all day? How many meetings would you set?
I live in it. My day is in Teams.
So
really
I'm feeling we have at least 3 or 4 Teams meeting a day internally or with clients. And what it'll basically do, one of the features it'll do is it will pick up on all the conversations that are happening. If you looked at our last webinar, we mentioned various apps that are, honing in on AI and taking advantage of it. Fireflies.ai was one of them that was mentioned. So that's a separate product that you have to kind of, pay on as a standalone. But basically, Microsoft's going to build all this stuff into their applications, right? So it'll listen to the meeting. It'll pick up on promises you made, commitments you made. You say, okay, I'll have the proposal for you by tomorrow. So now it'll create in your to-do list to create the proposal by tomorrow. Every commitment that you made, anything that was asked of you, it'll basically lay it out if you tell it to. And it's basically like having your assistant right next to you, like the old days with the notebook, making all your to-dos, right? It's doing it for you. And you're not paying anyone for it. You're paying $30 a month for it, yes, but It's doing all this great work for you so that you can improve your experience with your clients, with your vendors, with your employees. Anything to add to that? I
Yeah.
know
Did
people
you
have done
mention
this
that
stuff.
it's summarizing your calls?
Go for it.
Yeah. So you can be in a meeting, I don't know, 30 minutes in, it can summarize, hey, Copilot, summarize what's gone on so far. Okay, great. Now give me, I need a bullet chart of tasks that need to get done based on everything we talked about today. Great. Okay. Have we talked about who's to be assigned to those tasks? Okay, great. It's going to be able to summarize and give you so much information about even a meeting that's going on right at that moment. So it's incredible as far as being able to keep track of everything going on and not having to, not having it get lost.
Yeah, so we spoke about pricing. Microsoft's claiming that it's going to be released within the coming months. Let's talk about security. Well, there's a couple things we didn't talk about.
Wait a second. I may want to jump into some questions here because I'm not sure. Robert, I will never stop mountain biking. Just going to tell you that right now. So yes, as it's a paid add-on. Will it be able to search Google Drive? The answer is based on what I know about how it works. So let me go back a second. How does let's do a little this is going to answer a few questions for you. Let's do a little bit of how it works. So we've got this thing called Chat GPT. I don't know if you've heard of Chat GPT yet. It's the tool that basically set off this whole AI kind of revolution that we're running through right now. It's a generative AI. You put whatever into it. You ask it, hey, I need a trip itinerary to go to Bali. It'll go and it'll search the web and it will give you back that information. This Copilot, that sounds a lot like what Copilot does, right? Copilot is actually leveraging Chat GPT. But what Copilot does, anything I put into Chat GPT goes into their algorithms that are training that AI, which is not something you want. You are feeding company data into this thing, and you don't want that to go into ChatGPT's learning and AI because it will just tell that to some other person, which is a big problem. So what actually happens here is that when you put a search into Microsoft's Copilot, Copilot's kind of the enabler of all this, and it's bringing in a bunch of other Microsoft technologies to make this happen. First thing is it's going to talk to Microsoft Search. Like, let's call it 5 years ago, Microsoft released Microsoft Search, which essentially is it's indexing and making all of your information in Microsoft 365 quickly and easily searchable. It used to be that you had to search and you had to know how to write a search file type : this, and it was impossible. If you didn't go to some sort of database school, you would never know how to actually use a search. So Microsoft released a search that made it easy. You could use natural language to find the things you're looking for, and it catalogs and indexes all of your stuff in Microsoft 365 so you can search any of that. So you go to do a search in Copilot. You make a request in Copilot. First thing it's going to do is it's going to talk to Microsoft Search. And it's going to say, okay, I need this and this and this and this and this. Microsoft Search is then going to turn around and talk to Microsoft Graph. Microsoft Graph is the thing that it's sort of the API that allows whatever the technology is to talk to the Microsoft 365 universe. So key in all of this, Microsoft 365, Microsoft Graph, is that whatever permissions you have set in your tenant are the permissions it's going to use. In other words, if I'm the one doing the search and it goes and says to Microsoft Search and Microsoft Graph, hey, Norman's asking about this document, and I don't have access to that document, I simply won't get an answer back about that document. It's respecting the permissions I currently have, which is super important. So there's a couple of bits of privacy that needs to happen in order for this thing to really work. One is within my organization, I shouldn't be able to have access to stuff I don't normally have access to. That's one of the things it already respects, which is great. When it goes to do the next step, Microsoft CoPilot, it's found the stuff you asked for in the Microsoft 365 universe. Now it's going to turn around to Chat GPT and say, hey, take this stuff and do this to it. So take this information and do this request that the user just asked of me. And it's going to feed that information into Chat GPT, and Chat GPT is going to spit out your answer. Alarm bells might be going off in your head right now, because I just said that anything you put into Chat GPT is going to become part of its information. Oh, no, that is not the way this works. Those sessions with Chat GPT are ephemeral. They're for that moment. Whatever Microsoft Copilot feeds into Chat GPT, it's going to use for that session, and then it's going to delete it and not have access to it anymore. So that's the second part of this information privacy thing that's important. One, it's not allowing me to get access to information that I don't currently have access to. And two, when it feeds into Chat GPT, it's going to get rid of it the second that session is over. So back to the question of, can I add Google Drive in for searching? And the answer is, I think so. Because if you were to open up your Microsoft Search and you were to look at it, you would see that one of the things you can do in Microsoft Search is connect it to other data repositories. So I'm guessing, I think I'm right, that things like giving it access to your Dropbox, giving it access to your Google Drive, I think it will be able to do this.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was a long-winded answer.
We'll see. The way that I read it, and this is all new developments, but like Norman mentioned, Microsoft Graph, which Microsoft doesn't have a good way of coming up with the best names for their products, because you would think a graph is a graph, but it's not a graph. It's basically the API, which is something that connects to another piece of software, right? So the Copilot is connecting to Graph, and Graph has all the access to all your information in Excel, Word, Teams, PowerPoint, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of the conduit where it's going to get all this lovely, creations that it creates, right? So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that.
Which thing are we going to see about? Oh, whether it has access to that information?
Google. Yeah, to the Google stuff.
Yeah, it's funny because I was actually just looking at Microsoft Search today. It's an add-on, of course. I think there's a license for it, but yes, you certainly can connect it to other data repositories. So I don't know. We'll see. Well, so that's actually key. Everything here is super new. In fact, moving on. Oh wait, I can't move on to 1 second. We're going to move on to when this thing is actually coming out. But firstly, how's it going out there? Are you guys seeing things
getting some
looping?
Technical issues. Some people are saying it's looping, so I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah. Is it looping? Is anybody out there? Can you tell me what is this looping going on?
Ezra said it's looping. So another thing.
Wait, time out. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt again. Ezra Hade, you asked a question. Will it be able to file attachments into the proper locations within your SharePoint libraries? My guess, again, another guess here, is that because this is a generative AI, and I don't think it's actually made to do things like that just yet, I'm going to say no. Although, again, it's a guess. And what do I mean by generative AI? I mean, I ask it something and it generates a response. It doesn't necessarily do things yet, although that is actually happening with ChatGPT, this thing known as agents, that it can leverage agents to do things for it. So even if it can't do it now, I'm sure it's coming, but I don't know. I haven't heard of it being able to do it now.
We'll see. Another important thing that you get with the subscription that we didn't mention, Norman, I don't think is, and we mentioned this on the last webinar about AI, and some of the concerns around security was that anything that you feed into ChatGPT gets put into the system, and then all the other ChatGPT users actually get access to your data. And a lot of companies are freaking out about this. I think Apple disabled the use of ChatGPT by their employees because they copy and pasted some code that's not released yet, and now trade secrets are being given away. So the Bing Enterprise, which is if you're signed into Microsoft Edge, so Microsoft Edge, not Google Chrome, that's the Microsoft browser that comes with Windows. If you're signed in with your work account and you have the proper licensing, anything that you put into that, Bing, which is like Chat GPT, but they're calling it Bing Ask. I don't know exactly what it's called, but
Bing Enterprise Chat. That's what it's
Bing
called.
Enterprise Chat. There you go.
$5 a user a month.
That information is kept in the organization. It's not exposed. So even if you're putting something in there that's potentially could harm you if it were released to the public, it's safeguarding that information. So on security, you have that capability, which is huge because it's a huge tool. People are already using ChatGPT for various questions, advice, ideas, whatever it is, to see what else is out there, to compare their works to others and how to make it better. Your data is safe when you put it in that Bing Enterprise Chat, as Norman called it. Your data is safe.
What is Bing Enterprise Chat?
Bing Enterprise Chat. To me, layman's term, it's ChatGPT built into Microsoft Edge, right? Bing is their search, Edge is their browser. So you go in on the top right over there, you log into you can do a work account or a school account. If you do your work account and you're paying for the license, then anything you put in there, which is like ChatGPT, it's the same, capabilities and stuff like that. That data is safeguarded and not released into the wild. Another thing on security that Norman mentioned, which we just want to be clear, if you're working in the organization and you have a finance folder and a customers folder and a warehouse folder, all this stuff in SharePoint and OneDrive, as Norman said earlier, if Jill in the warehouse does not have access to the financial SharePoint share, which has all our spreadsheets, our P&L, our payroll information, she can't go in to Microsoft Excel and say, please, make me a spreadsheet of all the personnel, the payroll, and their pay rates, right? She's not going to have access to ask CoPilot, to, create a spreadsheet based on that information. So you have a couple things with security here. One of them is the users in the organization only have access to use CoPilot. CoPilot only has access for them to use the information that they have access to. The other thing is Bing Enterprise Chat, right, which people are using ChatGPT right here, right now. You can feel safe to put that information in there and know that it's not being exposed all over the place. Did I get that right? That's what I read.
Yes, that's exactly it. And I would love to, I can do a quick demonstration of it, although my keyboard's over there. But what I can show you is, because we have Bing Enterprise Chat running. Oh, you can get Bing Enterprise Chat right now in its trial mode before it's $5 a user, just so you know. But yes, what I would show you is I can prove to you that it's not keeping the information from one session to the next. So what I would do is I would open up Bing Enterprise Chat. First thing you would see is this green line in there saying, hey, your information's private. Great. And then if I were to put in something like, I am wearing a blue shirt, and hit enter, it would say, hey, congratulations, you're wearing a blue shirt. And if I then said, what color shirt am I wearing? It would say, you're wearing a blue shirt, right? A little worrisome because it sounds like it just held on to my data. But what I said before is it's only holding on to it for that one session. So if in that same window, I clicked new conversation, it wipes out that information. So I click new conversation and then I say, what color shirt am I wearing? It will say, I don't know what color shirt you're wearing. I don't have access to that data and I don't have access to your camera. So what it's showing is that, with Bing Enterprise Chat, your information is private. You can feed information into it, have it give you an answer, follow up with more questions or more instructions. And then when you're done, start a new chat and everything that you put in there is gone.
Right. It's like this message will self-destruct from the Mission Impossible is.
Exactly.
All right. Looks like we're having a lot of technical issues. We're sorry. We use StreamYard as a platform to connect to
It's been
LinkedIn and
great
various
until now.
platforms.
I'm
What was
not
that?
throwing StreamYard under the bus. I love this platform. I think
I
it's
know.
great.
So
I
we
don't know
don't
what's
know. We
happening
don't
now.
know. Right now it says we haven't had issues presenting, but yeah. So CoPilot, it's coming out. Look for it within the next few months. We'll be making a webinar with a show and tell on how to actually use it and leverage it in your business. We also would like to let you know we have events coming up regularly. Go to the RCSprofessional.com.
Wait, are we not taking questions? What happened there?
I don't know if we're having too much tech difficulties, but go for it. If anyone has any questions,
waiting for a word from Esther or Alex, whether we can take questions or not. The link is in the chat. We'll probably put it in again. Okay, good. Alex just put it in the chat. Nice. Thanks, Alex.
Esther's saying let's try. If anyone wants to hop on for questions, Alex put it in the chat. Click that link and she'll bring you on. Oh, here we go. It works. You're muted and your camera's off, Victoria.
You don't have to turn on your camera if you don't want to, but you do have to unmute so I can hear you. We can hear what you're saying. Oh,
nice.
That's interesting. So, okay, let's see. What else do we got?
I think we covered most of it. Again, this is sorry
we went
about
over the things
Victoria.
we wanted to go over, right? We went over CoPilot itself in all the. By the way, it's in all over the Microsoft universe. Have you guys even heard of Microsoft Loop? Microsoft Loop is Microsoft's newest application. It's going to be in that too. Do you know Power Automate? It's going to be in Power Automate. It's everywhere in the Microsoft universe. In fact, it's unbelievable. I don't know how they did this so fast. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's a good point. You're going to hear the word CoPilot a lot, and like Microsoft does with their naming on their products, they tend to use it in many places, almost just to confuse people. But for developers out there, I'm sure you already know this. There's going to be CoPilot for GitHub if it doesn't already exist. For those that use Microsoft Dynamics for their CRM instead of Salesforce, we use HubSpot. There's going to be a CoPilot for Salesforce. CoPilot for sales. So you're going to hear about this platform all across their space, like Norman was saying. But yeah, we're going to be providing much more information as it gets released. We're going to be having a webinar with a show and tell, like I said, on how to use it. First, starting with CoPilot for Office. But what else do we want to get into?
By the way, I agree with Carol Fitzgerald on this one. I know we kill Microsoft for some of their marketing and naming, but I love the name CoPilot. I mean, it's
a great name.
It's exactly what it is. I'm the pilot. Here's the co-pilot. We're working through this together, and this is going to be great. We're going to fly that plane all the way to where it needs to go and land it also.
They got this one right.
Yeah.
So anything else we want to do before we
let's talk about what we have upcoming. By the way, I'm psyched for this Chat GPT, CoPilot webinar that we're going to have. It's so powerful. So
we're waiting
to show it to you guys.
We're waiting for the release date, but we will do screen shares.
So when is the release
tutorials. Date? What was that?
When's the release?
They just said it's coming.
Correct. They just said it's coming. Right now, it's being tested it started off in I think 20 organizations, and then once Inspire happened, they opened it up to 600 organizations, right, probably in your more enterprise space. And they said it should be coming soon. I don't even think, did they say a few months? I feel like they said a few months, but I don't know. There's no answer on when this is happening.
I'm sure they're anxious to start collecting that $30 per user per month. So I think it's going to be pretty soon. And I think it's fully developed. So I don't see it being a problem for them. Yeah, so for those fish fans out there, fish in business, I'm psyched to go to Madison Square Garden
next
Sunday,
week,
Tuesday, Wednesday. Connect with us if you're going to plan on going. We have a great webinar coming up in September about B2B lead generation. We're going to share what's worked for us, and we're going to have a panel of B2B businesses that do a good job of lead generation for getting new leads in their company and closing new business. Esther also has, like I said, we have stuff going on in South Florida. She has an in-person networking event I think there was 80 or 90 people at the last one. If you're anywhere near South Florida or ever plan to be, please try and hit that up if you're
Yeah,
looking
they
to
look
grow your
like
business.
beautiful events. I wish I can get down there for
Yeah.
one. They're outside, sunset. It's beautiful. I kid you, it looks amazing. It's great.
Then we have the In This Together Roundtable, which is a virtual event every Tuesday for business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals. So yeah, and look out for the CoPilot webinar.
What about our YouTube channel?
YouTube channel. Go for it.
Yes, we have a YouTube channel, RCS Professional Services. It's got recordings of all of our webinars, everything we do. It's out there. You can learn all kinds of stuff on that. And what else?
That's it. I think that's it. Sorry for the tech issues, folks. We hope you were able to enjoy some of the content, and stay tuned for the actual CoPilot demonstration as soon as it comes out.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.